So it looks like Janice Combs is breaking her silence and speaking about everything that is going on. Since Janice Combs is putting out a statement, is Party City gonna be putting out a statement too? Because I would like to know. Hey guys, it's Morali. Hopefully you guys are all doing well today. Back again with another video. If you have not subscribed, guys, click that button. It is daily and consistent content. Literally, it is 4 a.m. in the morning. I was going to sleep, but Miss Janice Combs wants to finally break her silence with a long, intrusive, intimate letter. And I thought that we would go through it right now because, of course, this is breaking news. The fact that Janice would say something about everything going on. I've actually forgotten about Janice, thankfully, because that video of her and Diddy, which resurfaced where they were both kissing each other, was a lot to digest, something that I did not want to see. And evidently, Janice has some kind of impact on his upbringing. Probably was there mastering the freak-offs or knew what was going on and simply did not care because money was being fed into her bank accounts. And I just don't think that she was the best that she could have been for this man. That's what I honestly think. It begins. Janice Small Combs, the mother of Sean Combs, through her undesigned counsel and on the behalf of the Combs family, releases the following statement. I come to you today as a mother, for goodness sake, that is devastated and profoundly saddened by the allegations made against my son, Sean Combs. It is heartbreaking to see my son judged not for the truth, beloved, we saw the video with Cassie, but for a narrative created out of lies. Again, we saw the video with her and Cassie. To bear witness what seems to be like a public lynching of my son, here we go, before he has had the opportunity to prove his innocence is a pain too unbearable to put into words. Again, we saw the video of your son abusing the hell out of Cassie. Like every human being, my son deserves to have his day in court, to finally share his side and to prove his innocence. I am not here to portray my son as perfect because he is not. He has made mistakes in his past, as we all have. My son may not have been entirely truthful about certain things, such as denying he's ever gotten violent with an ex-girlfriend when the hotel surveillance showed otherwise. Violence is not the word that we should be describing. He dragged it in there like he was been doing that. Sometimes the truth and a lie become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to admit one part of the story, especially when that truth is outside the norm or is too complicated to be believed. This is why I believe my son's civil legal team opted to settle the ex-girlfriend's lawsuit instead of contesting it until the end, resulting in a ricochet effect as the federal government used this against my son by interpreting it as admission of guilt. It is important to recognize that none of us, regardless of our status, are immune to fear or mistakes. Not being entirely straightforward about one issue does not mean my son is guilty of the repulsive allegations and the grave charges leveled against him. Many individuals who were wrongfully convicted and later exonerated had their freedom taken from them because they were guilty of the crimes they were accused of. But because they didn't fit the image of what the society considers to be a good person, history has showed us how individuals can be wrongly convicted due to their past actions or mistakes. Watching the world make jokes and laugh at my son's life crumbling before our eyes is something I can never forget. It is truly agonizing to watch the world turn against my son so quickly and easily over lies and misconceptions, without ever hearing his side or affording him the opportunity to present his side. Such a manipulative statement, guys. The way that she's victimizing her son for us is insane. These lies thrown at him are motivated by these seeking financial gain and not justice. These individuals saw how quickly my son's civil legal team settled his ex-girlfriend's lawsuit, so they believe they can receive a quick payday by falsely accusing my son. False allegations of SA thwart true victims of SA from getting the justice they deserve. To make matters worse, the federal government is now using these lies to prosecute my son. This injustice has been unbearable for our family. The worst part of this ordeal is watching my beloved son be stripped of his dignity, not for what he did, but for what people choose to believe about him. I ask his supporters, fans, colleagues, friends and the public to not judge him before you've had the chance to hear his side. I beg you to think about those who have been wrongly persecuted, to remember that not everyone who has made mistakes in life deserves to have their entire existence judged by a single action or a few mistakes. My son is not the monster they have painted him to be. He's painted himself, beloved, and he deserves the chance to tell his side. I can only pray that I am alive to see him speak his truth and be vindicated. Respectfully submitted on the behalf of Janice Small Combs and the Combs family. Wow, wow, wow. What a manipulative statement. The way that she's coddled her son in this way and made him be a victim when he definitely is not. We all saw that video with him and Cassie. He settled that lawsuit with Cassie for a reason. Ain't nobody paying 30 million to settle something if they're not guilty. He would have dragged it to courts because we know about his dignity that you speak so much of. For you to sit here with such confidence and say all of these other cases outside of Cassie's are fake and are trying to get money from him is disrespecting these potential victims. So for you to talk about how SA takes place and, you know, we should listen to the real victims and these are the fake ones that are drowning the real ones out, how are you able to tell what's real and what's wrong? You weren't there. So what type of clarity do you have that we don't have? Because I would really like to know. It's a very triggering statement. It's a very shocking, very tone deaf, illegitimate in my opinion, and below par that his mother would say this. We all saw that video with him and Cassie. The way he dragged Cassie back into that room and beat her to a pulp, not once. It wasn't a shove in an elevator. It was multiple times. He's definitely done that before. All of these people coming forward with all of these cases, they're not all lying. And Homeland Security don't raid your homes unless they have enough sufficient evidence to prosecute you. So what you're doing, Miss Janice, is you're calling Homeland Security liars. The charges that he's facing, RICO and S trafficking and coercion, are not charges that are just thrown on you because somebody's called the police. That's not how it works. That's not how the legal system works. But you know that, don't you, Janice? You know that. Upsetting, of course. A mother's going to defend their son, and I don't blame her not being there for her son. That's your son, regardless of whatever your son, even if your son is a cold-blooded murderer, the mother and father are still going to love their son. That's point blank fine. You're entitled to your emotions to love your son, Janice, but what you're not entitled to is to come here, have the audacity to put out a public statement and shame these alleged victims who found the strength to come forth with their cases. Could there be some lies and money grabs? Sure, but all of them? Absolutely not. Homeland Security making these raids? We know why they're doing such stuff. So for you to downplay these and try to make this man who is an abusive individual a victim is disgusting. How dare you do something like this? It's belligerent and so degrading. I don't know. It's really, really frustrated me. What an awful statement. I'm so sorry. He's not a victim. Diddy is not a victim. We're not playing that. We all saw it on 4K, beloved. So I don't know what you're talking about. I had to do a video about this because we all know that if we saw these statements, ain't nobody going to be reading all of that because it's such a long couple of paragraphs. Honestly, it was pointless. And it's ridiculous. Somebody responds and says, yes, we make mistakes. Yes, most of us don't beat people down to pulp and throw things at them like heavy glass vases in the hallway of a public place. Most of us don't feel the need to put our hands on other people to the point they have to get plastic surgery. Don't we all remember? She had to get surgery. Did he force her to do so? I know it may be difficult to accept you lost your son a long time ago. That's one tape we all saw. We know there are more. That was behavior you were used to and didn't check. You know your son more than most people in the world. Please don't gaslight us. DV is not normal behavior or mistake. Period. The gaslighting is disgusting. What an awful, shocking, ridiculous statement. Shame on you, Janice Combs. Shame on you. How dare you sit here and try to give a platform to an abuser and shame those who come forth with lawsuits and all the pain that they've gone through, especially Cassie, let alone everybody else. Shame on you. Period. Now, Lewis Hamilton, interestingly enough, has quietly deleted and erased all connections and pictures with him, every single thing. Now, the timing of this is why I've wanted to speak about this, because why are you doing it all now? What are you involved in? At this point, it could be anyone. So why are you quietly deleting everything right now whilst he's in prison? I don't know. I feel like a lot of celebrities are, evading him in all their ways, and I just find it to be so interesting as to what they're doing. Their PR teams are telling them to do everything left, right, and center. I just honestly just find it intriguing because I want to know, what's going to happen. But again, we have to wait till the 10th of October. We've got 4 more days. 10th of October, 2 p.m. We will get updates from the courts about what is going to happen. And not only just that, we also have the appeal that is pending. I don't know if the appeal is going to be involved in that particular court date, but we'll just see. Subscribe, comment down below. I would really appreciate it. It's just one click to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.